All right, guys, here we are, lesson number 5. In our book, we are going to be on page 37, Reasoning About Tape Diagrams, Part 2. So let's use tape diagrams to help answer questions about situations where equations have parentheses. So we're not going to do tape diagrams like we talked about last week. We're just going to solve the equations. We're going to come up with the equations if we need to, and then we'll just solve them. So the second I can statement, I can find a solution to an equation by reasoning about the equation or about the value that make the equation 2. So 5.1, solve each equation mentally. Go ahead and hit pause. Try to solve these problems mentally, and then go ahead and hit play when you're ready to go. All right, here we go. So the first one, what minus 1 equals 5? Well, 6 minus 1 equals 5. So the first one is 6. Okay. 2 times what is 10? Well, 2 times 5 is 10. And what minus 1 gives you 5? Well, 6 does. You see a pattern here? 3 times 5 is 15. So what minus 1 is 5? Well, 6 minus 1 is 5. And 1 times 5 is 500, and 6 minus 1 is 5. So just like in yesterday's assignment or the previous lesson, all the answers are the same. So from previous lessons, like the lesson before, it looks like a lot of the same stuff today. So it should be review. So let's go ahead and go through it. Draw a tape diagram to represent each situation. For some of the situations, you need to decide what to represent with the variable. So we're just going to come up with the equations. We're not going to draw the tape diagram, so we'll just come up with the equations. So each gift bag contains 5 pencils. Each 5 gift bags contain X pencils. Tyler adds 3 more pencils to each bag. Altogether, the gift bags contain 20 pencils. So if we underline the stuff here, we have 5 gift bags, we have X pencils, we have 3 more pencils, and we have a total of 20 bags. Okay. So from previous one, now there are 4 things that are underlined instead of 3 things that are underlined. 5 total gift bags. Now if we look here, there are 2 things in the bags, or 2 things put into the bags from previous. So we have X pencils in the bag, and then we add 3 more pencils. So if we think about that, we can go X plus 3, so we have X pencils plus 3 more pencils, and there's 5 bags, so we can put parentheses around that and add a 5 next to it. So there's 5 groups of X plus 3, and that is going to equal 20. So there's my equation. All right, looking at number 2. Noah drew an equilateral triangle with side lengths of 5 inches. He wants to increase the length of each side by X inches so the triangle is still equilateral and has a perimeter of 20 inches. Okay, so we have an equilateral triangle. We have side length of 5. He wants to increase each side by X, and the perimeter is 20. Now, if you think of a triangle, triangles have 3 sides, and equilateral triangles, all the sides are the same. Okay, so we have length of 5, and they want to increase, so increase means we're going to add. So we're going to go 5 plus X, okay? And we could go 5 plus X and then do it 3 times because there's an equilateral triangle, so the 3 sides are the same. So we could go 5 plus X plus 5 plus X plus 5 plus X. Or we could go 5 plus X times 3, and that equals the perimeter, which is 20. Okay? Number 3, an art class charges a student $3 to attend plus a fee for supplies. Today, $20 was collected for 5 students attending the class. Okay, so art charge each student. So each student is $3 plus a fee. We don't know what the fee is, so we could go 3 plus the fee. We don't know what it is, so we could go X. And then there are 5 students, so each one has to pay that. So 5 times 3 plus X equals $20. Okay, and number 4. Elena ran 20 miles this week, which was 3 times as far as Claire ran this week. Claire ran 5 more miles this week than she did last week. Whew. A lot of stuff going on there. So Elena ran 20 miles, which was 3 times as far as Claire ran this week, and Claire ran 4. All right, so Elena ran 20 miles this week, so 20 equals 3 times as far as Claire ran this week. So we're going to multiply something by 3, and it says she ran 5 more miles than she did last week. Well, we don't know what she ran last week, so we can go 5 plus x or x plus 5. So there's our equation. Okay? So if you notice, we have some doubles here. The second one and the fourth one match up, and then the first one and the third one match up. So on the next one, 5.3, they just want us to solve it. Okay, so there are parentheses. I'm going to come up here so there's some blank space. So the first one, we can go 5x plus 3 equals 20. Now there's parentheses in this problem. So because there are parentheses, we can divide first. So we are going to divide by the number outside the parentheses, which is the 5. So we're going to divide both sides by 5. So that goes away, so I'm just left with x plus 3. 20 divided by 5 is 4. So remember, our whole goal is to get the x by itself. So we have the 3 that we need to get rid of because it's on the same side. To get rid of a plus 3, we're going to do the opposite, which is minus 3. So 3 minus 3 goes away. I bring the x down, and I have 4 minus 3 equals 1. So the answer for that one is 1. All right, looking at the second one, we have 3, parentheses x plus 5, parentheses equals 20. So once again, there's parentheses in the problem. So first thing we can do is get rid of those parentheses so we can divide. So we're going to divide both sides by 3. So x plus 5 equals 20 divided by 3 is going to give me 6.666666666. And then we are going to subtract 5. 5 minus 5 goes away. X equals 1.6666666. Okay? And that's it. That's the lesson. So more of the same stuff, coming up with equations, and that's the hardest part, is figuring out what are they. So our whole goal is we need to figure out what are they asking for, and then try to put the equation together, and then just solving the equations. Okay? So if we look at the summary, equations with parentheses can be represent a variety of situations. Lynn volunteers at a hospital and is preparing toy baskets for children who are patients. She adds 2 more items to each basket, after which the supervisor's list shows that 140 toys have been packed into groups of 10 baskets. Lynn wants to know how many toys were in each basket before she added the items. So with parentheses, there's going to be groups of the same thing. In this case, they're baskets. Okay? So we look to see the things that are put into the basket. So the first thing we know that are put into the basket is we have 2 items put into the basket, and then we have toys that are put into the basket. We know the total amount of toys, but we don't know how many toys are put in each basket. So we can go x plus 2. There's 10 baskets, so we're going to multiply that by 10, and that's going to equal the whole amount, 140. Okay? Number 2, a large store has the same number of workers on each team to handle different shifts. They decide to add 10 workers to each team, bringing the total number of workers to 140. An executive of that company that runs this chain of store wants to know how many employees were in each team before the increase. Okay? So here we're talking about 2 teams and different shifts. So there's 2 teams to handle different shifts. There's 10 workers to each team, bringing a total to 140. So we don't know how many workers are on the team. So it looks like in the review they put a y. They add 10, so y plus 10. There's 2 teams, so 2 equals 140. Okay? 2 teams. They have so many workers, and then they add 10 more, and that equals 140. So then, to solve them, we divide by 10 on the first one. 140 divided by 10 is 14, and then we minus 2. 14 minus 2 is 12. The second one, we go 140 divided by 2 is 70, and then we subtract 10. 70 minus 10 is 60. So there are 60 employees on the team. Okay? So on your assignment is number 3. The first part is you are given the problem, and you need to come up with the equation. Okay? And the second one is you're just solving the equation. Remember, you can always send me an email if you need help.